Bigger Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. No fake gurus here. And today's guest is friends with Tyler, so he's going to introduce us.
Absolutely.
All right.
I met John about a month ago, and we met because we're both from the email world, and we were exchanging ideas, and we actually met through a mutual friend, Patrick. It wasn't long. I think a week later, I ended up booking a one-way flight to California, where me and John spent a couple days together, mastermind, sharing ideas. And now there's a few things we're working on together. But when we thought about the next person to bring on this podcast, John instantly came to mind. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you John.Valenty, everybody.
Hey, nice to meet all of you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, and also Tyler and I together, we're at his new spot in Denver because usually there's one more camera in the mix. But yeah, we're in the same room today. So you guys are
awesome.
Lucky, unlucky, we can hit each other. I'm not sure, but it'll be entertaining.
We'll probably run into each other, so it'll be good.
Yeah, as long as you don't touch the table, we're good. No shaking the camera.
Anyway, so let's roll into it. Again, John's background, actually, he's going to go into his background a lot, but he's got a really diverse background, especially for what we do in email, because he's got both like a tech background and like an email background, but not from the average affiliate marketing email background. And we're going to dive into that, what that looks like. But John, do you want to give us a brief interview or brief introduction on like how you even got started in this online world?
Sure. Well, first of all, I've always been a entrepreneur. I've always been trying to figure out certain marketing techniques and strategies and so on for just growing any business. And I've been in way too many businesses. It's just what I do. I wake up in the morning with a business idea, and sometimes I'm nuts enough to try them out. And, I was that guy as a kid who would stay up all night and watch those infomercials and, about entrepreneurial stuff, make money online. Actually, there was no online when I was a kid. It was all make money with tiny classified ads.
So, it was the newspaper?
Yeah.
Nice.
You look like you're 32. You can't be that old.
No, I'm old as hell. I'm almost half 100. So I literally put that stuff to work, and my general tenacious nature had me actually figure it out. So I was one of those freaks of nature who would buy one of those courses on television and actually make it work. And that's not so mysterious. That's just a dogged determination thing where, I just didn't quit until I make something work.
Yeah.
So I started to advertise on classified ads. I started to sell mailing lists. I started to learn about the industry, and I just became kind of a go-to person for certain little mailing list type things. And I started realizing that, wow, you can scale a business if you got enough money. And I certainly didn't have enough money. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, sort of, in my business. My automotive services business was floating my hobby nighttime direct mail business, and something's got to give. Something had to give. So I did the unthinkable and said, okay, I'm going to go all in and practically burn the bridges by being less available in my main services business, and started go nuts with direct mail. And long story short, I hit on one campaign out of hundreds of tests. Hit on one campaign that scaled. I still didn't have the money. So what I did was I started telling other people. I said, hey, other people, I have a campaign that's 1 in a million. True story. This freaking thing scales, but I don't have enough.
What were you selling back then?
We're selling nutritional supplements, believe it or not. Nutra through direct mail, believe it or not.
And what year was this ballpark?
1995.
So you're basically sending mail, like snail mail, to people's doors, delivered by USPS, selling nutritional products.
Truckloads. The post office, well, we'll get there, but the post office literally had special trucks just for us. That's how nuts this became.
Crazy.
So, and when I'm talking the post office in every state, this was ridiculous. So, so really, and again, this comes back to what we do today. If you don't have enough money and that's your excuse, that's a shitty excuse. Because if you actually crack the code on a campaign, sorry, but that's 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
You should be freaking proud and go, hey, I cracked the code. I got an ATM machine. Who wants in?
Yeah.
See, you're only, you heard the story that you don't have to be faster than a grizzly bear. You only have to be faster than the slowest guy in the camp.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this sort of thing. You don't have to beat every other entrepreneur out there. You're really competing with Wells Fargo and Bank of America and the stock market, which is horribly risky, and people are all excited about a 10% return. So if you can actually offer a double-digit return with less risk, and you crack the code on an ATM machine, and you learn how to mitigate your risk, you learn how to control the outcome, you learn how to test your way and maneuver through changes and complexities, and manage risk. I'm sorry, but that's a hot opportunity. It really is.
Hey, John, stop giving all away our secrets, man.
So
yeah.
when
So
you
other people's
like truck routes, can you give us like a volume number roughly?
Yeah. So what happened was I didn't exactly invent this. Okay.
Yeah.
This is literally just me doing what other people were doing. But what I did was I articulated it differently. Instead of saying, oh, you can work at home and make, $3,000 a month, I said, hey, I've got a scalable business system here. Tell your rich uncles and do whatever you got to do to get in this thing in a big way, because this, for some period of time, is kicking off unreal returns.
Yeah.
And let me help you. Now, why would I help you? Because we had a network sort of compensation plan that had me overriding about 7% of what everybody was doing. So I was like, shit, I'd rather have 7% of $1 billion than 100% of my own. So I was building teams.
Yeah.
And while I built the teams and started teaching them stuff, I realized, boy, this is getting out of control real quick. So I became militaristic about systems. I literally forced a step-by-step system onto the teams. When they were out there trying to mail and trying to do this stuff, follow my system, they would still screw up. One of them would try to cheat the system. And what they would do is they'd call a mailing list guy and say, hey, I want to buy some data. I want to mail this out. And that mailing list guy is just thinking, what an idiot. I'm going to take all this guy's money. And that's what happened. And that's what our competition was doing. Our competition didn't realize that our secret sauce wasn't just doing this same way it looks like to the public, to the outside world, but it was really that we were controlling the audience demographic, the targets, and literally making sure that our own team wasn't buying the same stupid data.
Gotcha. So
how relevant is that today still, right?
Yeah, no doubt. So essentially, you made sure that they weren't competing with themselves.
Correct. Yeah. And the other thing I did was turned out to, now this is I'll just preface and say this was a $500 million run in 3 years.
Wow.
Nuts.
Dude, that's insane.
Mayhem. Absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
But what happened was, so you picture all these people, the competition out there trying to rip us off and same thing. And they're all mailing to the same people. So what I did was I started to detect some excuses. When you get excuses from your team, you're like, that's either real or it's an excuse. I'm not sure which one. And the excuse I was hearing was, well, it works in San Francisco, it works in San Diego, it works in, whatever, in big cities, but it's not working for me. And I went, this thing works. It seems to work everywhere, but it doesn't. And so obviously there's some truth to that. So what I did was I took my 5% conversion rate that I was getting, and I said, hey, everybody, there's no more 5% conversion rate. It's 2%. And 2% is freaking millions. So shut up and enjoy it.
So
now we're
just for clarification, for every 100 pieces of mail you sent out, 5 people would buy.
At one time, we'd get 5 phone calls, and of those 5 phone calls, we'd close 3/4 of them.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn,
The reason why is because we had an audio cassette that went with our mailing piece. Remember audio cassettes?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what is that? Is that like a CD?
It's like a CD, but not. It's rectangular.
I'm barely old enough to know, so.
Yeah.
Good old days. Did it have
So we sent the audio cassette
inside too?
Yeah, no, it totally did. It had 2 sides.
That's so awesome.
And it was an hour long.
Wow. People listen to that?
It was the equivalent of a podcast.
Jeez.
Wow.
And what it was literally telling people that, hey, all these little mysterious aches and pains and problems and everything, I'm sorry, but your doctor didn't go to school for that stuff. And the guy that's doing the presentation was a veterinarian. He says, look, farmers hire me to keep their livestock healthy and alive. And, you know, we know how to deal with arthritis. Very, very easy. We know how to deal with aches and pains, longevity, all this stuff. We just, you know, we're literally trying to cure these animals. But in America, that's illegal. He said, but I'll tell you what I would do if my family was sick, or if I wanted to feel better, I wanted more energy in my life and vitality, is what I would do. I would do like we do on the farm. And he starts going into these basic nutritional concepts. So when we got phone calls, the phone calls were, hey, how do I get this stuff?
Yeah.
So it's not like we were brilliant closers. In fact, I was teaching people, please do not sound like an expert. When they call you, you're dumb as a stump. You're an order taker.
Wow.
Dude, I would have been your best order taker.
Yeah. I mean, I literally,
right behind.
I showed people sometimes that they could answer the phone with, hi, thanks for calling. How can I help you? How did you want to pay for that? And the closing rate with zero rapport would be half.
That's so funny.
Did you guys have like a big call center that everyone worked at?
No. Everybody did their own thing. So what we did was this, while everybody else was saying, hey, I'm having problems, San Francisco works, everywhere else in the world doesn't. What I did is I bought the entire United States, every credit card holder with a kid that owned a home. And then of course it went to non-homeowners after that. I just took them and I random zip sorted it.
Wow.
I mean,
and then you give every different rep a different zip, or how'd that work?
No, they were pissed. I said, here's your chunk. You get ID number, this through that, and you're going to get 2% result like clockwork. Do it. Have fun. Nobody's going to mail on top of you. I got it.
Dude, that's one thing I've learned in business. If you can get a scalable or a duplicatable outcome, that's when you can really scale.
Yeah, for sure. So the people said, I don't have enough money. I showed them how to make I'll do the work, you fund it, rev share, and just explain those basic metrics. And I wrote a business plan, and I put out a marketing plan, a business plan, and I shared that with everybody. I said, look, put your name on it, show this to your uncle, and get his opinion. That was it.
So that was like your first big hit, right?
That was my first big hit. Yeah. Before that, I had a few employees running around the city in vans doing automotive services and that kind of stuff.
And then at what point, so you did that, and like, I don't actually even totally recall, because I know you transitioned obviously from that to what you're doing now.
Right.
Which is like something, you know, we've been masterminding a lot on. Is there anything that you did in between that, or did you just automatically start dialing into the internet?
No, I started losing money. Is what happened.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So I had a lot of money in my literally from age 23 to 25, 26. I was making $500,000 a month from various stuff. And I'm talking, that was like, I don't want to say net, because it's not real net, because I invested it constantly.
Yeah.
I literally could have just walked with the net like that.
Yeah. I wish you would have.
Were you responsible 25-year-old?
Yeah. I dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
By the recommendation of my district counselor, who said, dude, what are you doing here? Just get out. We're holding you back. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go to college. He goes, your grades are shit, dude. You're not going to college. I go to college. He goes, go to college. You can sign up tonight. The girls are a lot nicer. And so I said, you're telling me to leave high school, and I just turned 17. And he said, yeah, just take off. You're good. I got your back. He's like, you want a diploma? What color do you want? And so I left and I enrolled in junior college to meet girls, and that was it.
Good enough reason for me.
Yeah. That lasted, I don't remember, maybe a year.
Yeah.
So what happened was I started to lose money. And the reason why I started to lose money is I had money. I didn't have a lot of experience in the types of problems I was having. And the problems I was having was things like managing central databases and not having data in 10 different places and all that kind of thing. So I had this vision for this company called Earnware. And Earnware was going to be an installed CD program that would compete with, at the time, it was CRM, was brand new. We're competing with Act, Contact, and Goldmine, which are these little personal contact managers. And we built this little CRM on an installed CD, and I flew around the country and taught people how to use it. And that was the second time. The first time was just $1 million of tech development down the drain. To me.
What year was this roughly? Sorry.
This was like 97.
Okay.
So then the second $1 million, this thing started working. And as soon as it started working, I had problems with like, how do I charge people's credit cards? And there's this internet thing that we're trying to figure out, and this other stuff, and trying to keep it all together. And I hired this guy, my CTO, who was scrappy enough to figure new stuff out. And he had us actually taking orders on the internet in '97. And
you're like one of the first.
It was unheard of.
And you and the porn guys.
Yeah, the porn guys.
So I'm sitting there and I'm going, orders, internet, and I'm putting in a customer name. And all of a sudden it just went bing. I'm putting a customer name on the internet and I can access this from anywhere. And I just went, I missed the internet.
Yeah.
It's too late. It's too late. I missed it. So I said, okay, we're late, but we're going to do this anyway.
97.
Everything changed. Change everything. Stop everything. I got off the airplanes. I stopped doing the speaking engagements. I stopped doing the trainings. I just said, we're going to catch up because we're way behind, and we're going to catch up and do this internet thing. So I took the program and I moved on the internet, named it Earnware. And that was it. Earnware was an autoresponder that did voice autoresponse, fax autoresponse, email autoresponse, fax, voice, and email. Yeah, that was it. And did triggers and all the things you would want to do today. And we were doing it back then. It didn't really work until 1999. Then Earnware started to get usable. We're eating our own dog food. I totally lost interest in direct mail. I mean, my head was all over tech. Now I'm just enamored with how to organize business systems. Frankly, I fell in love. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I love this whole new world of, and you know what? The truth is, I have a service nature. Like I'm always trying to help somebody. It's just what I do, whether I'm making money or not. Mm-hmm. So it was just an easier way for me to help people was to do stuff that's super expensive and super complicated.
Yeah.
And my hope is always, can I make this easier for other people so they can build their business a little easier? And that's what I was doing.
So you started Earnware then. Obviously Earnware is still around. I know because I'm a customer.
21 years.
As of yesterday. And talk about what you do today, man, because I think what you've built between, are you cool if we talk a little bit about some of your brands as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
So what happened was I was just involved in all the rocket science of digital marketing and all the tech behind it. But truthfully, my skills got rusty. And as far as digital marketing, but my skills or any kind of marketing really, because that's where I started. But then I went all tech. And you know how programmers think. They're just like, you can't trust a programmer. Yeah. You can trust here's how my own programmers, how we trust our own programmers. And these are guys that we love. They're our absolute best friends. If they tell us something's going to cost $1 million, we just double it, triple it. Sometimes. Yeah.
Way longer, twice as long and twice the budget.
And that's to save their own children. That's their best quote.
Yeah.
It's not an integrity issue. This stuff takes longer and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we started building tech, and as we got smarter with tech, we got dumber with marketing. And one of our client opportunities was this site called Wellnesscom. And they said, hey, you're a marketing tech genius. You help us build this thing. I said, okay. And what happened was we realized, man, we had no idea what we're doing. There was a lot more internet out there to learn, and health marketing, all that stuff nobody really figured out. What they figured out to do is how to spend a lot of money. And these guys were spending, $100 million, and I'm out there just piddling around,
Yeah.
I watched Steve Case dump $100 million of his friends' money into health online and lost it.
Wow.
So I figured, who am I to mess with Wellness.com and all that? So they went out and tried to raise money. They failed, and we took it over, and we failed. I mean, we fell on our faces. Then what happened was, after some time, we started to learn, because is failing game over?
Not at all.
No. For most people, it is. It's game over. And it shouldn't be, because failing is probably the number one thing that separates successful people. Successful people look at a failure and they just go, let's keep going. Come on, keep going.
Yeah, I fail every day.
Yeah.
It's true, he does.
Yeah, fail constantly, right? Just fail faster with a little bit more, a little bit more get up and go.
Yeah, a little more experience too.
Yeah.
So what happened is we just kept trying, and then eventually Google had indexed the site, and we had traffic coming in organically, which was weird. And we made a couple $1 million off Wellness.com. It was it was a revenue producing property. And
could you explain how that revenue model worked? So Google started ranking Wellness.com for search terms.
Yeah.
You were getting free organic traffic.
Yeah, we started earning. We went from earning our first $100 to our first $1,000 to our first $10,000 a month to $50,000 a month to $100,000 a month to even $200,000 a month. I think we hit $250 or something a month on Google, just Google AdSense. Okay.
Yeah, so Google was ranking your site on Google, and then you were selling Google's traffic back to Google via Google AdSense, and basically paying nothing for traffic, selling it back to Google, making up to $250 a month.
And that model is still relevant today, and I hear it's actually more relevant today than ever.
Wow.
Really? So were you guys running, did you guys have like a serious SEO plan in place to get that site ranked, or this was just like
it was me and maybe 3 guys on my team that were pumping on it every day trying to figure out SEO.
Gotcha.
We were working it, and we just thought, gosh, this is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, it was so scary. You have, Google's in control and all this stuff. And this was when it's just more mysterious. And now it's a lot easier to understand building a web property. You build stuff people want. Yeah. And for that, you have eyeballs and traffic's valuable because advertisers want it.
Yeah. Sure. Do you remember when you were starting that site and you were not making anything, do you remember your like aha moment of when all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like all this is like paying off and we're actually seeing some revenue out of this?
So for me, I still felt the whole time like I have a business because I had put a few $1 million into it, and I was feeling very much like if I make a few $1 million, I'm still losing.
Yeah.
So it was a weird spot. So what I did is I did what any irresponsible entrepreneur would do, is I figured, you know what, if I can do this with a brand new website, then I'll be proud of myself, because I'm not proud of taking some smoking hot domain and turning it into a revenue producing property, losing millions of dollars. I mean, yeah, I felt like a trooper, but I didn't feel like a genius.
Yeah.
So what I did was I built 10 more small properties. First one was with my mom, and this one was fun. She was 60, probably 68 and a half years old, and she said, John, I need to make more money. I said, Mom, I got your back.
I love it.
I said, so what do you want to do? You want do you want a downstairs room in my house? Do you want a guest room? And I'm just kidding. I'm like, Mom,
I was gonna say your guest room's nice.
I'm like, Mom, yeah, you stayed in. I'm like, Mom, we're both alphas. There's no way we could live together ever. You need to make a shitload of money. That's what has to happen here.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know, because we made millions together in the past marketing business. In fact, my mom was like my right hand. I mean, she kicked ass.
I've never heard that before, to be honest with you.
What's your mom's name?
Janet.
Janet's a hustler. I like it.
Janet is the epitome of hustler.
That's awesome.
She's not a visionary or a systems creator, but if you put her on a system, she can fully extract the potential of the system, because she's a real go-getter.
That's awesome.
So yeah, my mom had a 20-year run of doing pretty well, and after 20 years of living the dream, eventually there's more you want to do more stuff hands-on, make more money and all that stuff. And so she started learning this business, and she's kicking and screaming a little bit, but she got it pretty quick, and she had no technology background, zero. I mean, email was the most she had done, and buying stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
And my goal was to not do stuff for her. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. I'd rather like go to sushi with her and talk about that. I don't want to be sitting there helping her with the business all the time. So I did this mad sprint, helped her get going, and she took it over, ran it herself. She kicked ass. And by her 70th birthday, she had hit 70 grand in gross revenue for that month.
Nice.
Wow.
Dude, that's awesome.
Solid. What was she
absolutely.
doing?
Absolutely. And I need to plug in my computer. Hang on real quick.
Oh, good.
So
I love that domain, man. Wellness.com. Like that's such a, the fact that you still have that too, like that domain's got to be worth so much.
Yeah, it's valuable. And the things that are most valuable are, this is what I can't stand about wellness.coms of the world, is that it gives people a false impression that they need something like that to succeed. So what happens, I start these 10 websites and we made all 10 of them work. So what we also learned is that SEO is very hard. It takes time. So we learned what we didn't know, which is your guys' world. About 5 years ago, I went to this traffic and conversion summit. And,
I know the one.
Yeah, highly recommended to everybody. Yeah. And I went there and I met this guy who I consider the godfather of my email education, Brian Littman. Call out to you, bro. You saved my ass. I really appreciate it. Brian runs a company called Dedicated Emails, and Brian asked me how big my list was, and I said, I don't know, a couple 100,000 maybe. He goes, well, how much are you making off of it? And I went, what do you mean? He says, well, you're making money on your list, right? I went, dude, you're speaking Chinese right now. I don't understand. He goes, you know why you're here, right? And I went, my buddy body dragged me here and said that, and I told him I don't even come to these things because I'm never impressed. I said, but I'm impressed today. I'm learning a lot. I think this is pretty cool. He goes, well, you're about to learn how valuable your list is, you dumbass. I went, dude, I'm missing something here. He says, yeah, those things are worth $1 a piece per active email per month. And I went, this dude's either lying to me or not. So he goes, you really have this show? You can show it to me. I showed it to him. He makes a couple of phone calls. He says, he basically said, give me your wire transfer instructions and I will sell it for you right now. Yeah. And he booked me like 30 grand in revenue from a couple of phone calls.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. I had no exposure to this. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
So I started learning email about 5 years ago. And because I'm no chump and I hustle, I don't know. I might have a equivalent of a 20-year education. I don't know, but I'm really kind of a new guy. 5 years is nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we started rebuilding all of our earnware software around learning, around email, really around digital marketing, as opposed to what we're doing from our, past world. And we learned fast. We learned how to build small properties, and every one of my friends and some of my family got in the game with us, and they just like, show me how to do this. I said, okay, I'll show you. And
even your daughter, how old is she again?
Daughter's 19. She started when she was 15. She has her site's called happierdaily.com.
Yeah.
And she's kicking ass. She's learning. Go to happierdaily.com if you want to. Here, hold on. I think I've got. Let's see if that works. Can you see it?
Yeah.
There you go. Go get Happier Daily free for life. Happier Daily.
I love how simple it is, man. Like I wish my dad taught me this stuff at 15. I wish I had a dad at 15. Different story, but
I wish I had honestly, a podcast set up like this. He just like instantly switched the screen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man. And like
hardware.
Look at that.
Marketing success. Come on, sign up and also content ready, killer content ready.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at those plugs. I love it.
Yeah, easy stuff. This is a studio that we built or I built on my last manic 2-month hiatus.
Oh, I like it. His main camera is a Sony like A7 III. Is that right?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, we're on a laptop webcam.
That's my guest camera for any of you guests that may show up someday. And there's the couch.
That's awesome.
You almost gave away all your secret plans on the whiteboard there.
Those are my daughters. Those are my daughter's secret plans here. So no,
not so secret.
Couch. Yeah, it's my daughter's secret plan. So, well, no idea what they are.
Nice.
So you've helped your mom, you've helped your daughter, you've built what, 10, 12 properties like this?
Yeah, and then maybe another 20 or 30 from just friends. And what's happened is my belief level went up on a couple of areas. One is that I really didn't think email was here to stay. I thought email's on its way out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that maybe it was a real temporary thing. But now I see Google doubling down, Microsoft doubling down, Yahoo's doubling down on email. Email's controlling every account in all of our lives. So it's pretty important.
Yeah. I've heard that before. Like email is almost like the glue that keeps the internet together.
Yeah, it really is glue. So here's my message. My message is to all my friends and my associates, my fellow industry, is that if you wake up in the morning and call yourself an affiliate or an emailer, you missed the big idea.
Yeah. I
was going to say it sucks, but it doesn't suck because your skill set is so freaking valuable, but it's not the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And email, having the skills to do email and the skills to be an affiliate is like saying I have a crescent wrench or a Phillips screwdriver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or a toolbox even, in this part of my toolbox. But it's really business, and it's the publishing business. And the thing that I hope to inspire, both from my own learning experiences and just from stuff that I know is real, is that you can literally make valuable stuff that helps people and content. And I'm not kidding about that. And if your writers suck, then get better writers. If your first attempt at it wasn't good, try harder, try again. Do it 100 times and then tell me you suck at it after you've done it 100 times.
Yeah.
And just keep trying to help people. And I know that sounds weird, but
yeah,
it's the whole key. If you just try to help people and you use your skills as a publisher to try to help people. Now here's the other key: under a good brand.
Yeah.
If you have some shitty 2-word, 3-word domain name with hyphens in it, forget about it.
Yeah.
Make yourself a real brand. Real brands only cost maybe $1,000. You can buy kick-ass brands. Like a mutual friend of ours just got what was it? Daily Prosper, can we say? DailyProsper.com. That was pretty inexpensive. Another one was there's so many. I'm telling you, we got healthyresearch.com the other day for like $800.
Wow.
American Prosperity for I think that was like $1,100, something like that. I mean, you can literally get Kickass Domains for $1,000 all day long. And the reason why you want to do that is so that you look like you belong in people's inboxes.
Yeah, a reputable brand.
Yeah, build a reputable brand that you're excited about, you're proud of, that you'd want to see on a t-shirt or in people's inboxes, and then hire yourself a writer, or you can hire contentready.com. We'll help you. But it's literally,
I currently subscribe.
Yeah, it's just all it is, a pool of writers that we argue with constantly. To, if we don't like what they write, we say, seriously, really? That didn't help me. I want a takeaway. I want a big idea. I want a nugget, something memorable. I want to feel like I want to send this to a friend afterwards. That's how good I want the articles. So that's very hard to do what I'm describing, but it's a magic formula. If you learn to do it yourself, just write look, here's a really great example of when you know you're there. It's when you feel like, when you're reading it, you feel like you're sitting with somebody at a bar, a few beers deep.
Yeah.
And you guys are getting real about stuff.
Good heart to heart.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
When it feels like that. And you're telling somebody something that you really believe in. By the way, I got that from one of our newest senior editors, Anna. Thank you for that idea. She started really using the whole bar analogy, and it really helped our writers.
It's because they all like to drink.
Well, I don't think it's so much the like to drink as it's like this idea of you want to be super real with people.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where we've all kind of been there too. So when you hear that, you can kind of feel in your heart. You're like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So what is that? That's called influence.
Yeah.
Influence is freakishly valuable.
Totally.
When you've got this rapport trust and influence from your content. You're putting out content that's just even slightly easier to trust than your competition. Remember, you're not competing with geniuses. You're competing with digital marketers.
Yeah.
They are strip miners.
Yeah.
And degenerates.
Okay? Really.
Yeah.
So if you incorporate a quality brand with a little bit of caring, or a lot, care a lot, it'll show. Content that is really intended to help people. Here's the deal. Your emails will land on people who are in crisis.
Yeah.
They will. People who are just going, fuck it, this is my last clickbait headline I'm going to click on before I go and do something stupid.
Yeah.
And if your content has some nugget that helps them a little bit, then, that's hero stuff.
For sure.
How much does content like that cost, roughly?
It's an excellent question. So you can buy a piece of crap for $30 anywhere.
Yep.
And then what happens with the piece of crap is you then have to put your own time into it, going back and forth or fixing the piece of crap.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's your time worth? If your time is worth $20 an hour, you can put 2 hours into a piece of crap and you might spend $80 and you're okay.
Yeah.
If your content, if your time is well, let's just say if you're talented, because you may not even know what your time is worth, but I'll tell you what it's worth.
Yeah.
If you have any talent at all, your time is worth $150 an hour, way up and on up. And that's if you're a new guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just a junior content, junior marketer, your time's worth $150 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a pro or like even approaching competency, your time's $250, $300, $500 an hour. So with that in mind, you're better off hiring a good writer. I mean, a great writer is nice, but really they're just finding good writers. Okay. It takes time. And then finding a great editor. And I mean, one that just is great. And then now you're still in the game. You're still playing a role. And I call that role content manager. Mm-hmm. And so it's content manager that creates a whole plan, a whole strategy, understands who is it that we might be talking to. A single mom whose husband's deployed, somebody who's underemployed and is really desperate to level up, somebody living with their parents still, or somebody who's maybe on a fixed income, whatever. You want to really define these avatars you're writing to. And then make sure that everybody on the team is really bought in with the idea that we serve these people. We are helping these people. That's what our stuff's for. That's what we're here to do. If I call it narrow casting, but if we're saying stuff like how to fix your something problem, well, I might not have that problem. So you're talking to a wall right now. It's disrespectful. So we're teaching writers and editors and content managers how to serve and how to serve a general audience, which is hard.
Yeah.
And the answer. So we've come up with the price of packaging up what we call a content manager who does strategy, a writer who does writing, an editor who does editing. And then this editor, the first editor, is responsible for putting out a good product. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, fixing grammar and stuff does not fix a piece of crap.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a piece of crap that's written well from the heart. Let me rephrase that. I'd rather have something that's good, written from the heart, that's really believable and really helpful, but it's got all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
That's easy to fix. Then taking something that's crappy and having an editor polish it. That's called a polished turd.
Yeah.
So what you do is that editor needs to literally send stuff back to the drawing board or rework it. We call it iteration.
Yeah.
So then you iterate with that content and make it freaking great. But what happens when you change stuff a lot? It needs another editor. So then another editor with fresh eyes has to fact check it and then do a final polish. And that to me is a process that I call a minimum viable process. Mm-hmm. That's where consistency is going to come from.
Yeah.
So we have our cost with Content Ready. That's contentready.com. It's $150 for that. Go through that process. Truthfully, guys, you can do it yourselves. If you don't have any money right now and you're super on an extremely tight budget, just do what I said through your friends, through your family, or through people that you trust to do this process. Just make sure different people with fresh eyes who have permission to say it sucks, go back and do it again, or can rework it. Just make sure they're in the loop and you have fresh eyes looking at your stuff and improving it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And make sure that you read it, you like it. It's something that you would want to tell somebody, like I said, you know, in a bar, some friend, a family member. And
that makes sense, man. If it's something you wouldn't want to share, how could you expect others to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what you do is you send that out in form of a newsletter, and you're building relational equity or trust and rapport with these readers. And now the stuff that you already know how to do, or maybe you're learning to do, which is monetize through email advertisements, affiliate offers, Google AdSense, even that kind of stuff affords you've got a red carpet in the inbox now. You can just monetize the crap out of that audience. Mm-hmm. And I feel very guilt-free about that when I do the other stuff.
Yeah.
When I'm building content under a brand and building, I guess what we call it, a digital asset. It's just.
So let's dive into that business model. Like, yeah. So someone says, I want to be a publisher. I want to build a brand. I want to send emails out. I want these emails to be valuable, and I want this to make money.
Yeah.
Where do I start?
I'd first start with your name. I'd come up with a name, and just that way you can name this big hairy beast something.
Yeah.
And make it a name that's not something super nichey. Here's the problem with super nichey names. They only serve you well in that niche.
Yeah.
And what we've learned about monetization is that monetization comes from all forms. It's all kinds of niches. So my tendency is to get more excited about a brand that is, like my daughter's brand, happierdaily.com. It doesn't have any limits. Dailyprosper.com. You got no limits with that. You can talk about driving for Uber or changing your life with education or personal development or banking.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of flexibility. So I like flexible brands. I like brands that sound like $1 million that only cost you $1,000.
Yeah.
And then I'd write a plan.
So start with a brand, you find a domain you like, and say, you know, it's, I guess we'll use your daughter's example, Happier Daily. All right. So you get that, you build a kick-ass website, you put some epic content on there, stuff people would want to share.
I wouldn't build a kick-ass website. I think that's kind of
website.
I mean, I built a website. I'd put your content out there on WordPress site. So
nice.
Yeah.
Easy. And then so you build the website, you build on WordPress. Where do you get these subscribers from?
A great question. So there's a number of ways to get subscribers. The most obvious way is social media, where you're going to have a subscription form on your website, and you're going to attempt to put a carrot at the end of that subscription form, or a landing page.
Yeah.
And that carrot can be something you think people want. And then you're going to advertise for that thing. We know that quizzes work well. Surveys work well.
Could you give us an example of a quiz that someone might advertise on Facebook?
I can, but I fear that it will hurt people's creativity.
Gotcha.
Because people like to rip off, or they like to do R&D, right? Rip off and duplicate. And if I give you my best idea, then I'm encouraging the.
What about your worst idea?
I'll give you some conceptual.
Or someone else's idea.
I'll give you some conceptual ideas that are real and that do work. So let's talk about the health business. We've done things like polls for things people are very emotionally passionate about, they're activated about, like gluten-free stuff, allergies. You know, should restaurants be forced to serve to allergy-friendly menus and stuff like that? Just quizzes and polls that are evocative, that activate people's desire to help or want to take part in it, or any sort of irrational passion.
Gotcha.
Give you another example. Should animal shelters give animals more than 3 days to live? Unwanted animals more than 3 days to live.
Wow.
Okay.
So these questionnaires can't be that long then.
No, little simple sort of polls and questionnaires.
So is it like yes or no, submit your email and opt in?
Pretty much. You can do stuff like that. You can also do ebooks. You can, you want to offer something. You want to explain that you're doing something. Like one of these polls, you could be raising money for animal shelters, or you could be, if that was your game.
Mm-hmm.
You might, you might put out something, an ebook about whether you've got some new weight loss gimmick or something authentic. Really, the problem with me guessing and talking about this stuff is it's just not specific to you.
Yeah, it's more just to like generate an idea. Like, so someone says, I want to get a subscriber. How do I do it? Well, basically, you can put a poll on Facebook and have people put their email in order to submit the poll, or offer a free ebook. Maybe it's like, how to save money for people over the age of 50. Maybe something like that.
Survival. If you're in the survival business, you'd probably put out this ultimate survival guide, ultimate survival quiz. If you're if you're in the politics world, you're going to do a poll on, should Trump be impeached, or should illegal aliens receive
anything to trigger emotion and get people to answer the questions and
should AR-15s be banned?
Yeah.
The answer is always no.
Yeah.
Don't ban our AR-15.
Do you have a stack of them?
Yeah.
No.
You're missing a gun rack in the back right there on that wall.
But if I had one, it'd be behind the wall now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's a little button where the wall would turn.
Wall. Yeah. So no, it's important to operate in a space that you know very well. You don't want to be tricking people with things you don't even believe. So if you got a do it yourself site, you've got some cool do it yourself plans, give away the plans.
Yeah.
If you've got a consulting practice, give away a consulting thing.
Basically provide some sort of value, get the lead.
Get the lead. Another way you can do it is you can go to the affiliate world, like ClickBank even, and find an offer that doesn't suck, and that takes work to find one that doesn't suck, and put up a front page, lead capture page in front of it, and put the affiliate offer behind it.
Yeah, smart.
Another example.
And Facebook likes that better.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook does like that better. Don't go off spamming email world or Facebook world and your friends and everything. It doesn't work. You will be, you have a very short lifespan.
Eventually be punished.
Yeah.
So people subscribe, they opt in, and then after that, you send them an email, say an email a day with some
newsletter
content, and also some advertisements in that content, right?
Yep. Initially, if I say email every day, you might panic. So email, every 3 days.
Yeah.
But you're gonna learn to do it every day. Remember the word curate. Don't be the expert at all things. It's not realistic. You want to curate expertise. So you want to find other things out there that are worth talking about.
Yeah.
For example, in WordPress, you can slap a YouTube link in 5 seconds into an article, a YouTube link that you watched that you thought was great. Hey, Gary Vee said this about whatever, and it was killer. I freaking love this. What do you think? And then underneath it, you can write some editor comments from yourself, and then put a comment engine right below it from like Facebook comments, and put it out there as a piece of content.
Yeah, super simple.
Smart.
Super simple.
Yeah.
And then send it out and build your little network of followers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if you got 10 people to start. Where 10 becomes 100, becomes 1,000, becomes 10,000.
That's right. And then the thing I love most about what you do, as opposed to what I've seen other email marketers doing, because building a list and stuff like that, advertising, for the most part, people understand that. What I think what you do is really cool is how you actually build a sellable brand that's a real asset.
Yeah, build it, because these businesses are everything's for sale, first of all. And if you have something, it's for sale. It's just the right price, except for your children.
Yeah.
Everything else. Yeah. Everything else is for sale. Some of you might have one child that should be for sale.
So what's the value based on that? Is it just list size and daily hits or monthly hits?
So the business world, typical business world transaction values values businesses at about 2 to 3 times, about 10 times net profit, right?
Okay.
That's really easy, but that's like a manufacturing business.
Yeah.
The dot-coms came out there and did some crazy valuations, but the realistic valuation for a business like a digital marketing business, a digital brand, is pretty nuts, actually. If it's bankable, and what bankable means is somebody can get financing to buy your business.
Yeah.
And the reason they'd be able to do that is because you have siloed banking, tax returns, and really good documentation for just that business alone.
Yeah.
Then it's worth, it's bankable. I mean, a bankable digital asset is actually worth close to 4 to 5 times revenue.
Wow. So if you're making $2 million a year, 4 to 5 times would be $8 to $10 million.
Correct. Now, when I say revenue, I should have said gross profit. It depends who's, if you've got a media buying expense in that activity, the media buying would have to be backed out.
Yeah.
But so gross profit is like revenue after hard costs. When I say hard costs, I don't mean employees.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like just hard costs that you get the message anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, come up with a brand something you know about, something you care about. Start advertising on Facebook, and then just start more or less nurturing those leads with good quality content while sliding in advertisements.
Yes. And the main thing you're doing here is learning, believe it or not. That's it. I mean, if all you do is learn a bunch of things that don't work and you don't go broke and out of business and you're still in the game, you're kicking ass. I'll tell you why. Because you don't get to know exactly when you're there, when you're big time, when you're the baller, when you're, you may not know until you are. Mm-hmm. And you could be this close. So that's why you can't ever think that, oh, I've worked my ass off and I'm still not there. This thing sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's you that still sucks, maybe this much.
Yeah.
And once you figure out that last thing that sucks, you're there. And that's why you don't give up. You just keep learning. And what happens is these learning experiences layer on top of each other while you're building a brand. And the difference between a bankable brand and not bankable brand doesn't suck. It's more like an unbankable brand requires a cash buyer. And you can get 3 times revenue, 3 times gross revenue, gross profit on a unbankable cash asset. So
what about as far as so once you have this email list, because I know the way you sell your email list is a little bit different too. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. An active email subscriber is worth on the upper end about $1 per active per month.
Interesting.
And what I was going to define what active means.
Active is somebody who's clicked at least once in a 60-day period.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So if you have a list of, say, 25,000 people, which I know can sound like a lot, but really 25,000 people is not a lot.
Yeah.
That subscriber should be worth $1 a month to you, as long as they stay on your list.
If they're staying on your list and they're semi-active, they can be worth $1 per subscriber per month. Yeah.
And then when you go, like for me, when I first met you, you asked me, how much CPM do you do? And I'm like, pretty much none, which for the most part still is true. What I loved about your method is that you take your list, you go out to advertisers, and they pay you before you even emailed anything to your list.
Correct. So the difference is in the CPA or affiliate world, affiliates know their lists. If you're not in the education space, which is the only weird outlier, every other one of the spaces, and high finance is the other outlier actually. So education and investors.
Yeah.
Those two spaces are kind of weird, but pretty much the rest of the niches, the rest of the space is worth about $1 a month per subscriber. And if you're an affiliate and that's the way you look at revenue only, they might be worth 30 cents or 40 cents. I think a gardeners are about to make a bunch of noise outside. I'm gonna have to run out.
Oh, it's all good.
It's all right. So the affiliate revenue potential from that model is usually about 30 cents to 50 cents per subscriber per month. per active. The CPM world is different. And what that is, the CPM world is all the advertisers who are the biggest names out there, the ones who have to get a result, who have to grow their lists, who have to sell their products. And
the more seasoned ones.
Yeah, they can't rely on affiliates.
Yeah.
Affiliates are an unreliable traffic source for brands. So what brands do is they put out a request for proposal basically to anybody who's listening and say, hey, we want good traffic. This is what we're trying to do. This is our offer. And if you think you can get us good traffic, we'll take a risk. And what initially you just want to get somebody to test your list. And you're like, I don't even know what this thing's worth, but I'm telling you, it's worth at least $10 per thousand in that ballpark. And you can let them try your list at anywhere from $5 to $10 per thousand subscribers.
Yeah.
If your subscribers came from a sale or something that they bought from you, then your subscribers are worth more like $30 per thousand. But if they're just reading your newsletter, they're worth maybe, $7, $8, $10 per thousand. And what you do is you just get those advertisers to buy your list, and you don't have to know who these advertisers are. You don't have to go find them or hunt for them. You can get them all through agencies, and you're welcome to email me. I can give you a list of agencies anytime. John@earnware.com, JOHN@earnware, EARNWARE, just like it is spelled right there.
I like the logo too. I like the font on that.
Thank you. So yeah, you basically tell the agencies out there, the email marketing agencies that are out there, there's a half a dozen of them, and say, hey, I'm out there with a new list, and they'll be happy to try it.
That's
so
awesome.
You just
cool.
When they ask you what
agencies, they get you like basically especially once you're more established, like some of your lists are booked out like for the next 60 days, right?
Yeah, you can book out a good list a full month in advance, and you can book out great lists 2 months in advance, which is freaking awesome. I mean, it's great to look at a calendar and see that you already know how you're monetizing your subscribers. You already know how you're making money. Yeah, it's great. And for those of you who may be a lot, experienced or watching this, and you're thinking, gosh, I mean, I've been kicked off of these different email systems for doing this affiliate stuff, and you don't need to worry about that anymore. When you are a real publisher with a real brand, putting out good content, they are happy for you to make payroll and monetize your subscribers through reasonable means.
For sure.
It's a different animal. You just don't need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, smart.
No, man, that was the biggest thing I learned from you, man, was just the value in building a brand. One from a consumer point of view, the other one from an advertiser point of view, and the other is just from like, I believe like Gmail, Yahoo, their number one job is to make sure people get the emails they want. And when they're continually opening an email from a reputable brand, you shouldn't have problems with deliverability or hitting the inbox.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
cool.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the time today. I definitely appreciate it. I know, talking to you, learning from you has been a huge thing for me, and something my team, as you know, has been implementing heavily. If people want to reach out to you, get in contact with you, any preferred ways? I know you mentioned your email earlier on.
Yeah, you can get me an email. You get me on Skype. Kind of live on Skype, so it's John, JOHN.Valenty, VALENTY. And you're welcome to use any of the same companies that we use, and it's Earnware, Content Ready, and don't forget my daughter's site there, happierdaily.com.
Yeah,
I love how you have that on the fly, man.
Shout out to the daughter, happierdaily.com.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening today. For everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube, and for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Yes.
Awesome.
Nailed
Thanks
it.
again, John. Appreciate it, brother.
Later,
All right,
man.
guys, go for
Have
it.
a good one.
Take care.